Hi everybody, I'm Natasha. I'm gonna make a little video here because the internet says that people like watching videos. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make crab bites, little crab balls, because I've had this can of crab meat in my cupboard for like a really long time. And it's 10:30, and so obviously I'm starting to think about what am I gonna eat for lunch. So that's what I'm gonna do. So here I have some chives and dill from my garden. I painted all my mismatched pots gold, which inspired me to plant a whole bunch of herbs in them. Highly recommend getting a can of gold spray paint and seeing what you can do, because it was super fun. And now everything looks super glam and shiny, and I have a big herb garden. So I put the herbs in there. It's just a little handful, a couple tablespoons, something like that. Now I put the mayonnaise, I pre-did the mayonnaise into this cup, so you didn't have to watch me squirting mayonnaise out of a container into a bowl, which seems super barbaric. So anyway, I put it in the cup. It's about a little less than a quarter cup. So I'm gonna do that. I wanted to use breadcrumbs, but I did not have any breadcrumbs. So instead I'm gonna use about a half a cup of leftover rice from last night. And the gluten in the rice should probably help it stick together, but we'll see how it goes, and I might have to add a little bit of flour. I'm just gonna squirt a little bit of mustard in there. It's not as barbaric as mayonnaise, but this is how I roll it. I just go like this. And it looks like about, I don't know, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm almost out of mayonnaise. I'm gonna say that is 2 teaspoons of mayonnaise. Rooster sauce is, like, I eat rooster sauce twice a day, probably. I'm gonna squirt about two teaspoons of rooster sauce, but I like things rooster sauce flavored. Paprika. I'm gonna do a little bit of paprika just to kind of give it a little bit of warmth. I'm gonna use celery salt. I'm gonna measure the celery salt. I don't want to overdo the celery salt. I actually don't use this very often, but it smells amazing. And I like the little bit of freshness that it gives. Okay, so I'm gonna do a half a teaspoon of celery salt. So I don't want to overdo it, but I will probably try it before I put it in the oven to make sure it doesn't need more seasoning. I'm gonna do an egg, 1 egg. Okay, you know, my 6-year-old can crack an egg perfectly because he's a genius, and I've been making him bake with me since he was 2. So he is perfectly, he does it better than most adults, honestly. He never gets a shell in there. Okay, so now this is what it looks like inside. Can you see? Before I add the crab, I already know it's gonna be too runny, and I'm gonna need to add some flour. But let's mix this can of crab in. This is crab salad meat, so it's really finely shredded. So which probably means it's not the best quality, but for something like this, there's so many other flavors, I'm not gonna worry about it. You know, I wanted to use Old Bay seasoning instead of chives and dill, but I didn't have any, and it is actually a little bit complicated, Old Bay seasoning, has a lot of ingredients, and I've tried to make it myself before, and if you substitute things, it's no good. Okay, so now here's what it looks like with the crab meat mixed in. I'm gonna go get myself some flour, and I'll just leave this running and I'll edit it after, and then we're gonna thicken it up a bit so it forms into nice balls. Ta-da! Here's my giant thing of flour. Look how big it is. You know how long it took me to go through this flour? 2 weeks? Maybe something like that. Okay, so I have 2 tablespoons of flour, which is half of a quarter cup. Quick conversion. I'm gonna mix that in. Yeah, that's gonna be nicer. Oh, we need pepper. Let's do some nice fresh cracked pepper. I like pepper. Nobody in my family likes pepper, but I put it in everything. I don't care what they like. I'm the one cooking, right? All right, now that is lovely. So with something that you want to shape into a ball, it needs to hold its shape, so it needs to be thick enough, but not so thick that it dries out, because you're going to put it in the oven, it's going to lose its moisture. So I'm going to use a scooper, probably a measuring scooper, so that I get them all even sized. I'm going to ball them up. I'm going to move this over here so you can see it. Make little balls. Yep, like that is lovely. Can you see? Okay, so I'm going to do a whole bunch more here. I'm going to edit this after so you don't have to watch me make all of the little balls. And then we're going to come back once they're out of the oven. I've got the oven on 400. I'm expecting this is going to take about 20 minutes because they're small and they just need to be hot in the center and a little bit of crispy on the outside. So that's not going to be super long, but we're going to watch it. You know, every oven is different, and things like humidity affects it, and moisture content in your flour, and everything affects how long things take in the oven. So what I have learned and always do is that you don't watch the clock, you watch the food. That's my pro tip. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna put this in the oven. Okay, and we'll see you in about 16 minutes. Okay, quick edit to add. I said earlier that rice contained gluten. Rice, of course, does not contain gluten. What makes rice sticky is the starch. So just want to clear that up in case anybody saw that and panicked that they were eating rice on a gluten-free diet. Okay, so are you ready for the big reveal? Here they are, super cute. These little babies turned out perfectly. I did broil them at the end for a couple of minutes to get a little bit of extra crispiness, and I had to rotate them because my oven has a hot side, but they turned out beautifully. I hope you make them too and then eat them and enjoy them. Thanks, bye.